there's kind of two ways that you can use these tools. One way is use it to make you smarter, right? So a common piece of advice to job seekers is, hey, if you're going to be interviewing a company, right? You should know what business they're in.
Right,
You should
right.
know like whether or not they've been in the news about anything recently. You should know who their competitors are. You should have some background information on them,
Mhm.
right? And you could easily spend an entire evening Googling them, especially if they're in a niche that you don't really understand. And, maybe your specific job that they're hiring you for isn't exactly relevant, but it's still nice to know, right? So that was like one way to use AI as part of the job seeking process is help make yourself smarter. The other way, and I'm just going to be honest here, use it to play the game, right? Companies asking for personal statements or cover letters.
Okay.
Look, we all know that if they're asking for it, they're asking for it as a speed bump to see who really wants to apply to them, right? But it's a terrible speed bump. And you absolutely should be using AI to generate a person. If they're spending 5 minutes reading it, you should be spending 5 minutes writing it, right? They give you a take home coding exercise. Yeah, bang that out with Claude Code, right? You absolutely should be using AI to overcome the speed bumps that are present in the hiring process. And the reason I'm saying this is
Right.
because your fellow applicants are doing the same thing. You don't
Well,
have a choice here.
hang on. You said, if I understood you correctly, if you get a coding test, use Claude to do the coding for you?
Yeah.
Isn't that cheating?
So great question. As it on the coding exercise, if they tell you do not use AI, then be honest and don't use AI. If they do not specify it, then my personal opinion is you should use the same tools you would use to do the real job on this coding exercise, because that's what they're ultimately trying to evaluate, right? The purpose of coding exercises is to see, can you do the job? And if you can do the job that they gave you, that is representative of what they need, with the combination of your skills in Claude Code, you absolutely should. And it's kind of like, I will say, it is on the company to adjust their coding exercises to reflect what they're actually looking for. If they're looking for somebody to do vanilla work, right? Well, then you're going to be a superhero with Claude Code.
Can they tell if you've used it?
So they absolutely can. And even if they can't, if they ask, you should be honest. I use this or not. Well, sorry, if they're sophisticated, they can tell.
Mm.
However, if they're sophisticated, like most sophisticated companies are now of the belief of, yeah, use every tool at your disposal. They're not saying, hey, here's a coding test, but don't use Google and Stack Overflow. No, of course use Google and Stack Overflow. Do a better job at this, and we're going to adjust the expectations of the test to reflect that. In fact, believe it or not, a lot of companies now are deliberately making easy but busy work style coding tests as a way of filtering out which candidates are already fluent with AI and which ones aren't, right? If it's going to take you a week to put together a super simple vanilla React, Node.js Postgres app,
Hmm.
right, that somebody else with an AI could finish with an hour, right? Companies are going to make this their coding test with the expectation that the only people who are going to actually be completing it are the people using AI or the people who really, really, really have an extra week to burn, but who actually has an extra week to burn.
That's really interesting. It's almost like the secret's out, guys, so you should just use the tool. Like it's not something that you should be hiding necessarily, but are you on top of it? Are you knowledgeable about it? Can you
And,
use it to assist you?
and this is also important is at the end of the day, you are accountable for the results, right? So if you use Claude Code to build an app and that app doesn't work very well, that's a reflection on you. And it is actually a job and a skill and a talent to making sure that Claude Code produces code at the quality that's acceptable to you. And Claude Code in the hand of two different developers on the same task can result in two very, very, very different outcomes. And companies absolutely could and should be judging developers on what they can produce with the best tools in their hands.
Okay. Okay, that's unexpected but interesting.